Hey everybody, what's up? This is Retrokid Reviews doing a quick and not 60-second review of still Wave 2 of... Ooh, Flight Sim was actually pretty good up until now. But yeah, this is Magnus himself, Magneto from X-Men 97, his trial episode, Gear. Starting with the top, for whatever flight stand you get, I'm using the DC the McFarlane multiverse flight stand for I think a few figures at this point. I'll figure out which one in the comments down below. It does pretty well. Holds a decent amount of levitation for Magnus over here. So let's start at the figure itself before we get to the packaging, because if you saw my I think my Bishop review prior to the season drop earlier this year, you're pretty much getting the same packaging, so I'm not going to really waste any time there. However, I already put the old head sculpt on his face right here. Sorry for the tilt. It's kind of how my rig is kind of rigged up here today. And you can definitely see like a good range of like the anger they kind of got with photoreal on sculpt here. Also, the ab crunch is working a lot more than I thought it would. And again, still kudos to Hasbro for again doing that tempo effect they're doing with the paint scheme. With it clicked back into place. As far as articulation goes, you still got I think for a lot what everyone kind of thought was going to be the Sunfire. No, the Vulcan build, Buck, and you can definitely tell at points because there's still a swivel on the abs, there's still swivels on the thighs, very stiff, but okay in this character's case to have a little stiffness in the ankle rockers, especially for the toes later on, because again, you're going to be showcasing him in more flight with using magnetism, stuff like that, if you saw my short earlier this week for this week's episode of 97. So yeah. Having said that, a little bit of size comparison. It's like the only other X-Men figure I have on set. I would love to do probably another size comparison with the Bishop to see if the art shading style is still in tandem with the Lee era kind of like costuming. And so far, so good. And yeah, here's Forge, speaking of last week's episode, with his first half of his life-death arc with Storm. So yeah, not bad. Body proportions are about a little bit off given how old each mold has been. I think it's like about a decade apart from each other, depending on who you ask. So yeah, we'll get to the packaging real quick. You only get like a few accessories. For starters, the hand options is these blade hands. I'm told I don't know who did the custom job on them, or I think it was Anthony's Customs that said that they look pretty good with leftover Doctor Strange effect hands. If you just repaint them with like I guess now that there's more context to the series for the season of 97, you could do it with the yellow effect, because I think in the original 92 show there was like a red effect. So you could go off of that. So overall, I kind of want to do, before we get to final ratings, just I guess comparing the art style of Claremont era of the original trial. There was another trial Magneto had during the peak of the Krakoa era, now going into Fall of X. And with the bring aside, yeah, it's been a pretty busy week here, so last up is articulation is about the same. The butterfly joints though are a little more pronounced because Wave 1 was the classic costume Magneto. I'll just leave the trials, the Krakoa one over here just for example. And if you just want to work off the head sculpts alone, they look really good as a de-helmeted off Magneto. The big issue I've seen so far is the cape. It's a little in the floaty department, like so much so I think if I could demonstrate here on time for cam, no, but there is a plug-in joint like right there. There's a plug socket right around there, which is actually not bad, pretty standard issue for Marvel Legends. And going at the cost of like I think this was about 25-ish bucks that I got from GameStop. It looks pretty good. Let me get some lighting on it for final ratings. Your overall experience of this version of Magneto, ideally ain't gonna be, I didn't think would be my first. I thought I'd be getting like a helmeted like from the movies, or even like I said, Krakoa era versions. Like I think there was a Krakoa era version of Magneto when the comics were kicking off a few years back, but again, that's me misremembering. So with that all being said, you do get into really unique poses. If you saw my socials, I did get him in other stuff too. I'm going to try to redo some shots because there was an angle with figure 4Me that looked a little not TOS safe, so I want to try to redo that magnetism thing. And for those who saw my pics earlier this week, I kind of had to use old school, like, this is where the nerf side of me comes in, old school Allen key wrenches to pretty much show off Magneto using his magnetism on a few characters to showcase the set here. So overall, it's still pricey. It's kind of been the big issue with most of not just the 97 wave, but like the retro card back wave, is that essentially you're getting Build-A-Figure prices for what is essentially a decent card back and everything. And I'll just use this here to close out the video with. Other than that, you can definitely see, like, if you want to dedicate, like, a Age of Apocalypse era sculpt with this body mold, go ahead. That's actually a really good idea, given what's been laid into context with, I guess, this season of 97. The neutral head sculpt, I was going to probably leave if I figured out a way to, like, build, like, a faux, like, figure version of Genosha, which most of when, Claremont era, this version of the costume kind of went for. If anything, I might be misremembering that. Again, wiki down below for this particular era in Magneto's life. That all being said, my overall thoughts of the character, very unique. I think the McAvoy era with that Magneto was actually pretty cool too. Wow, I'm already blanking names here. But yeah, obviously I loved the original movies one with Ian McKellen and all that. Looks really great. I think he was the most catty out of the two eras of Magneto. But if there's ever a new live action adaptation one, I would definitely see them try to do the trial first as like a good reintroduction to the character for people who never really got around to this particular part in Eric's life and stuff like that. So I don't really know. As for articulation, like I said, it's basically the same. I think the only thing I might have missed is that there is a boot cut. So you could do decent swivels there for mostly levitation, as far as showing off the magnetism. I do want to try, and I think some Marvel Legends figures reviewers and custom guys found ways to do like magnets in the boots of like a lot of Spider-Man figures so he can stick and stuff. I wonder if that's the same case here for Magneto figures, if they just figured out a way to make that work. Also, just do like an opposite subtract with the magnetism and just like hold it there for a shot. For pictures. So I don't know, I'll probably figure that out as time goes on as far as modifications go. Overall, though this isn't my ideal first attempt of my introduction into Marvel Legends Magneto, I would say episode 2 of 97 definitely brought it home on my whole thoughts of it. I never really got into more context with the trial itself. Very great. The speech itself, when he was taking down Executioner, was very moving, I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, for the figure itself, it's still pretty much, I think, the same thing I kind of put with Bishop. I think Bishop is a little higher. I think I put him on the 8s. I think I put him on a 7.5, mainly because, again, it's not my ideal Magnus to start off with as far as Max goes here. Also, drinking game of how many times of alternate names Magneto's had over the past in the comments that I might have mentioned in this video alone. So, a fun game there in case you guys want to rewatch. So, until then, and with a proper review, hopefully, finishing up Garo and boonbomger next week. Hand over here for that. No shorts later this week because I'm going to be at WrestleMania. I think I mentioned that in last week's breakdown. So with that being said, go to whatever is I think last week's short for X-Men 97, or this week's if that's already out by this recording. So until then, figure over here to sub the channel down below. And before I close out, I want to give a very happy congratulations to my job coach. Little behind the scenes of my life and stuff like that. Turns out she actually is a mom now, so I'll see if she's clear to talk about, because sometimes she's in the comments. If so, hey, what's up, congrats. And with that all being said, this is Retrokid Crew saying, I would love to know some Magneto cuts right now, because that would be a cool way to close out this video. Anyway, this is just a refresh review, so you kind of know what you're getting with the molds and stuff like that. I'll recommend reviewers down below when this figure was new at the time. So with that all being said, take care, subscribe, and he is the Lord of Magnetism. And you are done with this review. Oh, come on, Charles, really?